So like I said, my name is Jessica Walker. I am the Student Events Coordinator at GCU, so I do all of the fun stuff. And a lot of that does happen within the first few weeks of university. So a few points I just kind of wanted to run by you guys. And I've got some slides, so hopefully everyone can see those. Any questions and any links that need to be sent, though, we can also put them in the chat, so just let us know. I guess starting off, the first thing that I would say to any new student starting at GCU is familiarise yourself with our lovely Campus Life Desk. The Campus Life Desk is an amazing kind of help point for all students, especially new ones starting at GCU. It's basically your first port of call for any non-academic queries that you have. They are located on the first floor of the George Moore building within the Campus Life Lounge. It's a very handy corridor to know at GCU. It's where a lot of the student services are kind of housed, and it is also like a kind of study social space that you can use while you're a student with us. But yeah, the Campus Life Desk there, any non-academic queries they can help with. And if they can't help with it, they can definitely signpost you to people who can help. They are open Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. So you can pop along. I think there is also sometimes there's someone there a little bit early in the morning, so if you get there a little early, it's as well to pop along and see if you can catch someone. But their main hours are Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. They do have an email, which is on the screen. It's just studentsupport@gcu.ac.uk. All of our kind of student services and emails at the university end in at gcu.ac.uk. So good one to remember. And they do also have a phone number there as well if you're not able to get on campus or send an email. But yeah, Campus Life Desk, very, very handy for any kind of non-academic queries about the university. A handy one to know. The next thing I kind of wanted to speak about was something that you can sign up to before you arrive at GCU. So we have the PALS scheme and the Global Buddies programme. PALS is peer assisted learning. Basically what you have to do for PALS is the QR code on screen right now I don't think is working, so Michelle is going to send out a link after this webinar with the proper one that's working so you guys can sign up. But you would sign up via a form that tells us a little bit about yourself, and then we designate you into a WhatsApp group chat with people on the same course as yourself. And it's then just a platform that you can ask questions, look for advice, all surrounding your course. Within each chat, in each PALS group, there are senior PALS, and these are students that were in the same position you were a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, that have decided to lend their expertise to the new group of students starting in that course. And it's really just peer-to-peer advice and help on a digital platform that you guys can message whenever you would like, and hopefully you'll get someone to answer back. Global Buddies is then a really good platform that we have to help you kind of feel at home while coming to GCU. Basically, it's a program where you would sign up, filling out a form. That again tells us a little bit about yourself, what course you're on, but also your hobbies, your interests, what you're looking to gain from being part of the Global Buddies programme. And from that form, we pair you up with a home student, so ideally a Scottish student, but sometimes it's not a Scottish student. It might be a student that's just studying in Scotland for a little bit longer, so knows the university and Scotland itself a bit better. We pair you with a home student, and they are then your global buddy for the term, and you can look to them for help and advice. This person might not necessarily be on the same course as you, maybe not even in the same school, but they will hopefully have some sort of common interest with you. Maybe it's a sports team that you like to play, or particular music that you're interested in, something like that. So it's basically just your first friend when coming to GCU, that you can kind of reach out to them and ask any questions, any help and advice. We've had some really lovely friendships grow from the Global Buddies programme. We've had students go and visit their global buddy in their home country for their holidays, and all sorts. So a really nice programme just to give you a little bit of ease and help settling into life at GCU and Glasgow and Scotland, and have a few people that you can speak to outside of your academic or staff at the university, someone kind of in the same position you are as a student. So yeah, 2 really, really good programs. As I said, I don't think the links there are quite working. We seem to have an issue with them, but we'll get them up and running, and you'll get an email after this session with details of how to sign up for both of those. I then want to talk a little bit about me and what I do. So as I said, I'm the student events coordinator. So a big part of my role at GCU is Freshers Week. So Freshers Week this year is taking place from the 8th until the 12th of September, and it's basically a week of a whole lot of fun and lots of freebies and lots of information that is really handy for you as new students. Monday and Tuesday are the kind of really, really busy, hectic days. So I would say if you're coming, if you can only make it 1 or 2 days, those are 2 really, really good days to join. They are when we will have, you can see the bottom corner photograph there with the market stalls outside. We'll have a ton of market stalls, and they will house different brands that are giving away goodies. These could be anything from Amazon giving you deals on Student Prime. It could be the Glasgow subway station giving you subway cards, as well as other freebies. We'll also have sports clubs and societies outside. So if you're looking to join some, they'll be there as well. But yeah, that'll be a really, really manic couple of days. Monday and Tuesday, we also have the Freshers Fair, which is inside the Arc in one of our big sports halls. And again, it's a ton of stalls all set up with majority student societies and the sports groups. So I would really, really recommend to come along on Freshers Week and give yourself a good bit of time to wander around all the stalls. I think it's really important for you guys to join a couple of societies and sports clubs. There'll be something for everyone. I think we have over 60 at the university. And you are also able to start your own if you don't find something that suits you. But the societies range from kind of really niche interests. I know we had a CSI society and a Disney society, but we also had a nursing society and a fashion branding society. So sometimes they link up with the courses as well. So really is probably something for everyone. So I'd highly recommend getting involved with some of those. You do not have to commit to a lifetime of going along to these societies and clubs. If you go along and you don't think they're quite for you, you can, just leave them after that. But I would really recommend to try out a few when you first arrive at GCU. It's a really great way of getting to meet people outside of your course as well. So yeah, highly recommend that. Beyond that though, Freshers Week, there's a ton of other fun stuff that happens. We tend to go for a little bit of a theme each year. So last year it was quite a sporty theme. So we had an Olympic cyclist come along with his silver medal that you could try on. We had some little challenges like the hang tough you can see there in the picture. We had some mini golf. We had a lot of freebies as well. So the stalls, we quite often will have free face paint, candy floss, popcorn, all sorts of really fun things. We also did last year have our own version of the Glasgow Wonka experience. I don't know if any of you've heard about that. Last year, the Glasgow Wonka experience was a bit of a disaster, but I think our one went down pretty well. And we had a ton of free sugary treats, which people loved. So yeah, every year we try to change it up and have different fun things for you guys that week. So really highly recommend that you make sure you're here for that week of the 8th of September and get to explore all the free stuff that we're giving away and get to enjoy some of the fun things we've brought in specifically for you guys starting university, and make use of getting to see all of the stalls, all of the societies and clubs that you can join, all in the one place. At each stall for the societies and clubs, there will be someone from that society and club, so they'll be there that you can ask them questions, inquire about what it means to join their society, and you don't really get another chance to see all of them in the one place. That's why Freshers Week is so important that you come along and attend, and it's a lot of fun, so you may as well come and enjoy it. Something else that I run specifically is the International Welcome Programme. So I'm hoping everyone here is a new international student that's coming in September. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, actually, you will get an email from myself saying, hello, welcome, hi, I'm Jessica. I run the International Welcome Programme. And this is basically a programme of free events specifically for the new international students starting in September. We run this every September, and then we also run it in January January because we have some new starts in January. But it spans from this year, it's going to span from the 30th of August all the way through until Halloween. So a ton of events happening over a month, just welcoming you to Glasgow, to Scotland, helping you meet people, getting you socialised with everyone else who's in the same boat as you, having come from somewhere else to study in Scotland. We have a ton of free foods at these events, which always goes down very well with the students. But yeah, we'll also have some of our student ambassadors attend these events, so students that you can kind of chat to and get to know and ask questions, and just really have a nice kind of welcome in your first few weeks at GCU. So all of these events are free, and they will be housed on our Eventbrite page. So if you're not familiar with Eventbrite, it's basically just an online platform where you can sign up to free events that we run. I think I have that in a later slide, so that will pop up. You'll be able to save the name of it. But yeah, all of our free events go through there. We do have limited spaces for these events, especially the ones where there is food on offer. So it's really important that you sign up for the events ahead of time. But also, if you're unable to make it, which we know these things happen, things crop up, they are free, so there's no pull for you definitely to come along. We do ask that you just let us know if you're not able to come along, so that we can reopen those spaces to other students that maybe missed out on the first lot of signing up. But to give you some examples of some of these events, we have our welcome barbecue, we have our afternoon tea at a lovely little tea place in Glasgow. We have a welcome night, we have a welcome talk where we let you get in front of all of the student services and just fill you in on what they all are and how to use them. We work with a guy called Gary, who I'll speak a little bit more about later, to do some walking tours and some other events. So yeah, the welcome programme, really good, really informative, really good bit of fun, specifically for you guys, the new international students starting. So definitely take advantage of that and come along and just get to meet everyone and socialise and make the most of your first couple of weeks here in Glasgow. Beyond that, we will also do day trips. So the day trips are always really, really popular with the international cohort because it is a really, really easy way for you guys to see a bit more of Scotland while you're here at GCU studying. The day trips are something that we charge students for, so we will only ever sell tickets on the GCU online store. That's why that little label is there at the bottom. We tend to do 1 or 2 day trips every month during term time. So in September we will have 2. And then we have 1 in October, 1 in November, and 1 in December. I think I can quite confidently tell you what those are. So the first 2 will be to Loch Lomond. So the boat picture that you can see there is from one of the trips that we do to Loch Lomond. And we're going to go on an hours-long cruise on Loch Lomond and then a hill walk in the afternoon, stopping at a lovely little town called Luss for lunch. In September, October, we are going to the Enchanted Forest, which is that top right-hand picture. It's a huge event that happens in Scotland every year, and it sells out every year. Thousands flock to the town of Pitlochry to do a forest walk with this light show that's really quite amazing, especially if you get good weather, or dry weather, should we say, not good. But it happens in the evening. And it's a really magical little kind of stroll through the woods at this massive event where there's, marshmallows for toasting, hot chocolate, all sorts of things going on, a light show. So that's a really good one. In November, we are going to be using our lovely Gary to do a tour. And then in December, every year, we do a Harry Potter walking tour in Edinburgh, which is always very popular. And then we give you free time in the afternoon because the Edinburgh Christmas markets will be up and running. So yeah, that's another really, really popular one. We do that one every year without fail. To give you an idea of the kind of cost behind these trips, we do have to charge for them. But what's included is typically a stop in the morning, a stop somewhere for lunch, and then a stop in the afternoon. Also, your coach travel for the day. So the travel all day, we meet outside the university and you get dropped off back at the university. So the coach is included. Every now and again, we do include a packed lunch, but that's only if we're not able to stop somewhere for lunch. So that will be made very clear, and there probably will be a little extra charge to those ones. But the day trips tend to be around about £12 for the full day, 2 stops, and your coach for the day. So to put that into perspective, if you were to get the train through to Edinburgh for the day, I think a return ticket would cost you more than £12. So if you come with us, you're getting a tour guide as well. So yeah, we try and keep it as low as possible in terms of cost, and it is a really good way of seeing some kind of more rural places that otherwise would be quite tricky to get to with public transport. So highly recommend you come along on as many day trips as you can. These do sell out. The coach only holds 50 students. So 48 tickets tend to go up, and then there's 2 staff members, sometimes 49, and it's just me. They are really, really popular. So if it's something you think you'd be interested in, definitely keep an eye on the GCU online store and get your tickets quickly. They're always a really good day. And I will say, although we can never promise it, I always tend to get pretty good weather for it. So I think that must just be good energy we have with our day trips. We tend not to have not had a disaster weather-wise in a long, long time. So now I've said that, we're going to have a few probably. But yeah, really highly recommend you come along with the day trips. So yeah, keep a wee eye on the GCU online store for those. And then beyond that, I kind of just wanted to say, we don't just stop at Welcome and Freshers Week. We continue on throughout the full term. So and my team will be doing all sorts of events throughout the term. A lot of them will be posted on the Eventbrite because they will be free events for you to attend. A couple of examples that I've got up on the screen here. We have Winston giving well wishes at exam season. So that's the little sausage dog you see. He comes onto campus and wishes everyone good luck for the exams and hands out stress balls. We have me dressed as an Easter bunny doing some Easter egg hunt activity. We have some vision board making. We have some Christmas activity, some Valentine's activity. I think the top one there is at Diwali, when we decorated our letters for Diwali. And then you see the lovely man in his nice kilt there. That is from one of our bigger events, which happen in November, called Festival of Cultures, which we do every year. And basically, it's a chance for us to celebrate and explore the really diverse range of students that we have at GCU. So the daytime looks a little bit like a fair. We have lots of different little stalls. At each stall, we will have someone representing a different culture or country. So you can see he's at the Scottish stall, so that's the one that I stand at. And we had the Sea Jimmy hats, we had Iron Brew for you to taste, we have a kilt for you to try on. But yeah, that's just one example of the kind of stalls. This is actually an event we really encourage students to get involved with. So if you're from a country that you don't think is getting represented, or you have something from your culture you would love to kind of showcase, we really encourage you to get in touch with us and be part of this event. It's really good fun. It's during the day. We tend to have a lot of snacks to give away from different cultures. We have music playing, little games and prizes to be won. It's really good fun. And then we also do an evening event where we have students actually perform. Some play instruments, some do traditional dances. We've had a little ceilidh in the middle of it, so we teach you some of our traditional Scottish dancing. We have a DJ to play kind of an international playlist, so music from all around the world to see the night out. We have an international kind of menu, so lots of different foods from all over the world for you to taste and try. It's a really good fun event. We've had movie showings in the past as well, so that happens around about November, and it's something we always really encourage our students to get involved with. So yeah, ways you can keep up to date and involved with us is we will have a designated Facebook group. It's called September 2025 GCU International Welcome Group. You will all, when you get your kind of information from myself in a few weeks' time when you're joining GCU, that will be one of the things we suggest that you join. It's just a closed Facebook group where we will promote all of the kind of international welcome events because they're specifically tailored for yourself. We'll promote them there. We will also promote any day trips there first of all. So we'll give you like a day or two to know about the day trip before we put it out to the wider audience of GCU, because anyone can go on the day trips. But we'll give you kind of first dibs, if you will, via that kind of Facebook group. The other thing I've got up there is the GCU Student Life. So that's the Facebook page ran by our designated student comms team, which is run by Stuart, who I'm sure you will get to know because he's everywhere on campus. And he posts everything student facing. So anything about fun events that's happening, anything about timetabling changes, building closures, anything like that. He posts absolutely everything that makes sense for students to know about. It gets posted on GCU Student Life. So highly recommend you keep it up to date with those guys. They're also on Instagram there. That's the GCU_Student Life. So if you're not on Facebook, because I know not everyone is, hopefully you're on either or both. You can keep up to date there, where they will post about, again, everything student facing, including my events and day trips. So a really good way of keeping up to date with us and what we're doing. GCU Student Life is just our Eventbrite page. So if you search that, I think you can follow us there, so you get notified every time we add a new event that you can sign up to. And then I've also just popped up our web pages if you want to have a little look through there as well. It kind of will signpost you to everything I've been talking about today in this kind of presentation. Then in terms of who we work with, I know I've touched on the Student Association in terms of clubs and societies, but I'd highly recommend your first kind of couple of weeks at university, make sure you go along to the Student Association building and just have a little wander through and see everything that it has to offer. It's there for you. You are a GCU student, so it is yours. They have an independent advice centre, which is separate from the university. They have Radio Cali Studio, so if you're interested in getting involved in radio work, that's there. They have a bar and kind of restaurant within the building. They also have a computer lab, other study spaces, rooms that you can book out specifically for different things. They have all sorts. So really important that you have a look at that building, go see where it is, see how you could use it, take advantage of it. It is yours there to be used. And also have a little look on their website. They have their own events that they run, and they can also, on their website is where you will see a list of all of the clubs and societies that are available to join, and also the form to create your own if you think there is a gap in the market there, and there's something else that you want to start. So yeah, first few weeks, definitely get to know your student association and indeed your full-time officers. They are elected students, elected by the students for the students, to kind of represent them. So good for you to know who those guys are. And then the other person I kind of touched on before is the Celtic Ginger. So that's Gary. We work with Gary a lot. He used to work at the university, then he left to set up his own business. So he does his own tours. He is the one who helps us out a lot during our International Welcome Week, or term, and he comes along and does our Glasgow walking tours. So he's super knowledgeable. He's full of myths and legends, and he's very entertaining, much more knowledgeable than I am. When you go on day trips with just me, I make it clear I'm not a tour guide. I'll do my best, but he really is a proper tour guide. He can tell you everything that you could ever ask about Scotland, and some. So yeah, that's his. I would recommend, he's most active on Instagram, so if you follow him there, you can see what he's up to. And he also runs a little workshop for us that we call Learn the Lingo. So if you've been struggling to understand myself during this talk, if I've been speaking a little too quickly, apologies. I know I tend to do that. I try to slow down for these things. But if my accent's been too thick, or I've been speaking too quickly, or maybe I've said a few words that you don't quite know where they're from, come along to our Learn the Lingo workshop, and he explains why we speak the way we speak and the logic behind it, if there is any. It's a really fun little event, and he's very good at hosting it. So I'd highly recommend keeping an eye on the Celtic Ginger and everything that he has to offer you. He's a really good partner that we work with throughout the term. But that's it from me. If there is any questions, I think I've seen Michelle pop up a few times with some links and things. What I'll do in the chat is just put down my own email as well as the student events email. So if you have any questions specifically for student events, you can email me and I will do my best to answer. Like I said, the PALS, I'm not sure about the Global Buddies, but definitely the PALS link isn't quite working just yet. So Michelle's going to send that out in a follow-up email from this event. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask, whether it's about events, first few weeks at university, or anything else. You have my attention for the next few while. So if I can, I will help, and if I can't, I can signpost you to the person who can, hopefully. So yeah, I'll close down the slides so it's a little less distracting, and we'll just use the chat. So any questions that you have at all, feel free to pop them in. If there's anything people would like me to go back over, just let me know. I can do that as well, because I know sometimes I speak too quickly. So apologies if that's the case. But yeah, any questions or any more information that you would like to know about, pop it in the chat and I will do my best to answer. Any questions at all, let me know and I will do my very best to answer. If I had a recommendation for things that you should definitely do, it would be go and see the Student Association and all it has to offer. Make sure you know where the Campus Life desk is. It's a really good place to know about. And follow us on social media, because if we will post everything there. So it's really good just to have that kind of coming up as and when it's appropriate for information to be sent to you guys. It means you don't need to be checking your email all the time. You can just have a quick check on our posts and see what's going on. But that's definitely what I would recommend. Can a student organise a tech event? Yes, definitely. We actually have a really active kind of gaming society, I think it is, that does a lot of things like that. That's definitely where you would do it through a student society. It makes things much easier. It means you have the backing of the Student Association to help you out with things, as well as potentially your course. Sorry, I've got really itchy nose. But yes, definitely students are more than welcome to organise their own events. I would always recommend that you do it through a society because they have the infrastructure already set up for you to do something like that. But if you don't have one, then definitely you can always get in touch with us and we can see where we can help you, hire a room, things like that. But yeah, I would highly recommend looking into the societies to see if there's one that would suit your purpose. And then you also have people to help you out as well, which is always good. So anything CAT and visa, I'm not able to help with, unfortunately. I don't know, Michelle, if you're able to post. She's just popped something in the chat. Perfect. Yeah, CAT and visa, unfortunately, I'm not too able to help with anything like that. I know that they're very busy this time of year, but they are a really good team and they will, I promise, get back to you, even if it does take a little bit of time. Yes, there's been some sort of hackathon computing related type events as well we've had in the past. Again, I think it's been organised through your actual course and the academics there. So definitely ask that question when you're in your school induction and your course induction. I'm sure they'll definitely be able to let you know what they have already scheduled in the timetable for you guys to get involved with, but also the opportunity for you to create your own, definitely. Any other questions? The other thing that I will kind of highlight to you guys, that again doesn't really have much to do with myself, but just as someone who was a student at GCU, something I wish I'd taken more advantage of is the LDCs. So it's the Learning Development Centre that we have at GCU. I didn't use them until I was in my 4th year of university, and they were massive help. So I wish I'd known about them sooner. So yeah, I'll pop the link for those in the chat as well. It's just a really good place to go and help with any kind of academic writing and things like that. The other kind of hint or tip I will give you is to go along and attend all of your inductions that you can. They are full of really helpful information that you will use not only in your first few weeks, not only your first year of university, but your full time at university. So it's so important that you go and attend these things and take notes of everything that university has to offer and make sure you make the most out of your time at university. Oh, thank you so much for coming. So yes, we run the International Welcome Programme again in January. It looks slightly different just because it's January, not September. But yeah, all of the same kind of events that we run are replicated in January for the January intake, so students aren't missing out. Or if you happen to have missed out on some of the events in September, you are welcome to come along in January. It's a slightly smaller cohort in January, so we tend to have a little bit more space. The thing that you won't get in January if you are a new student starting at GCU is our Freshers Week. That only happens in September. So all of the fun things I was kind of chatting about, the mini golf, the Wonka Wednesday, we've had in the past, a Barbie box and a Barbie car and the Friends couch and the Game of Thrones Iron Throne and famous people from reality TV shows, that kind of thing only happens once a year. So all of the kind of international events will be replicated in January for that intake, but the freshers events are specifically for September. What we do have in January is a kind of smaller refreshers fair. So the fair I was talking about with the clubs and societies, they do a smaller version of that in January, which gives you an idea of all the societies and clubs that are available. But I'd always recommend, if you can, come along in September, because it tends to be everyone's there, and they really put in a lot of effort for that one. Any other questions, just let me know. So in terms of Scottish historical places, yes, I guess the day trips, we tend to go to kind of historical locations in Scotland, something that we think students would be interested in going to. So for example, we've done Glasgow Palace, we have done I'm blanking on one, like the Kelpies, so the big horse statues that we have. We have done Blackness Castle. We tend to do that one in January because you can go into Blackness Castle, so if it's a horrible day, you're at least a little bit sheltered. We have done a couple of events with the Castle Hunter, so we go around a bunch of different castles in one day. The castles sometimes are ruins, so just to make that clear, sometimes people show up and they think, is this the castle? And we're like, that's what's left of it. So yeah, different historical places. We're also really, really open to the idea of, if there's somewhere that you would love to go and visit in Scotland, but you're finding it tricky to organise transport there, let us know and we'll see if we can make it into a day trip. There's only so far I can take you guys and so many places I can take you there and back in the day. The day trips tend to run from about 9 in the morning until about 5 in the evening. The exception to that would be the Enchanted Forest event, because it is an evening event, so it's a little bit later. But yeah, if you do have somewhere that you would love to go, if it's within driving distance there and back in the day, we'll do our best to make it happen. But yes, lots of different historical places, as well as kind of fun things for you to do as well. Someone's asking about malls nearby. Is it like shops and things? If so, yes, we have Buchanan Galleries, which is a kind of shopping centre right across the road from us, essentially. There's St Enoch's, which is also in the city centre, and then just in the city centre, it's very, very walkable Glasgow, with a lot of shops nearby. Any other questions, just let me know. If the chat gets quiet for any length of time, we might finish up a little early. But I'm going to just pop into the chat now the LDC's information, just the web pages that you can go and look on. As I say, they're really, really handy, and something I definitely recommend you guys just keep in mind for your time at university. You might never need them, but they're very, very handy. So just so you know that they're there. And then I'm just also going to pop in my email address, both my own email address and the student events email address. If you guys have any other questions event-wise, you can get in touch with myself and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. I will say it's getting to the very, very busy time, so if I take a couple of days to reply, my apologies, I will get to you, don't worry. Someone has said, I'm coming humid country, what's the weather like in January? It's cold and wet in January, tends to be. I love Scotland. I think it's great. The weather is not something we can rely on. You can check the weather forecast and it could change. It could say something and completely different outside. So yeah, January, December. So I always say, I think October, November, December is kind of cold and dark. It doesn't tend to be too wet and miserable just yet. And then we save the wet and miserable for the other side of the year. But to be honest, I always tell the students when we go on day trips, and it might, if it's raining or if it's a little bit misty or foggy, it's very atmospheric. It's very atmospheric. It makes you feel like you're in Scotland. It never gets too cold. And on the really wet days, you just stay inside and enjoy everything Glasgow has to offer inside. I wouldn't let it put you off getting outside and exploring. A good pair of walking boots and a waterproof jacket and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just make sure your jacket's got a hood on it. I see a lot of people come with umbrellas or brollies, as we call them here, and we tend to be a little bit windy. So go for a hood over a brolly. Michelle is right. We can get all 4 seasons in one day. It could be snowing with sleet and then have beautiful sun the next day. So I did have a photograph of my dad in the back garden where in the shade there's still frost on the grass, but in the sun my dad's sitting out having a cup of coffee. So yeah, Scotland's very changing. So a good jacket with a hood and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll get used to it as well. So we'll stay on for a few more minutes, but if there's no other questions, we might pop off a little early, but if there is, just pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer. I think I've answered all the questions that were in the chat, but if I have missed them, just let me know.